It is now 9:52 on April 27th, a Sunday evening of 2025. We are going to go through the galaxy set. There's not going to be anything but galaxies in this, and we're going to try to do as quickly as possible. I'm not even going to show you the last galaxy. Our rounders galaxies are going to be NGC 2692 to 2767 this evening, the brightest of which is NGC 2715 at 11.2 magnitudes and 13.4 average surface brightness. The faintest will be 2762 at 15.1 magnitude and 13.2 magnitudes average surface brightness. Why is it brighter? Because it's much smaller. We're going to be using ASI Live and 10-second exposures. We're going to wait hopefully about 20 seconds before we image them. We're going to add noise reduction at the bottom. Hopefully I will nail it looks like I've done a pretty good job of setting up the histogram. Okay, we need to get this down to 15 minutes, 1 minute a galaxy, because I have to be able to use this same technique in the NGC series, which could handle as many as 40 galaxies or studies in a NGC 150 series. All right, so I did my alignment on A30 and Polaris. It turned out pretty good. It looks like centering is good. Maybe we'll get a decent look at a Messier galaxy by the end of the evening, but we are going to launch. This galaxy that you're seeing on the screen is NGC 2692. Quickly, it's in Ursa Majoris at 8 hours, 56 minutes, 58 seconds, plus 52 degrees, 3 minutes, 57 seconds. Has a visual magnitude of 13.3, a size of 1.3 by 0.5, and an average surface brightness of 12.7, with a position angle of 165 degrees. Through a 24-inch scope, as noted by Steve Gottlieb in 2018, at 203.75x, moderately bright, elongated 2 to 1 north-northwest to south-southeast, roughly 50 by 25 arc seconds with a small bright core. I would say we're not referring to this large bright galaxy here, but another member of a group of galaxies that we've already envisioned in a previous session. Moving on. Here at 250x, roughly, we're seeing NGC 2693. It's at 8 hours, 56 minutes, 59.3 seconds, plus 51 degrees, 20 minutes, and 51 seconds in Ursa Majoris. Magnitude 11.9, 2.6 by 1.8 arc minute, with an average surface brightness of 13.6 and a position angle of 160 degrees. I do believe we're seeing our galaxy right here. Before moving on to our next study, I do want to add that Steve Gottlieb said it through a 14.5-inch scope done on April 1st of 2021 at 226x. It was moderately bright, fairly small, slightly elongated, 1 arc minute in diameter, with a small bright core, increases somewhat to a stellar peak. And there are several galaxies in the field, plus some faint ones as well. Okay, NGC 2694 is obviously a neighbor in the same neighborhood as NGC 2693. It's at 8 hours, 56 minutes, 59.3 seconds, with a declination of 51 degrees, 19 minutes, 55 seconds. It's a visual magnitude 14.5 galaxy, but very tiny, 0.3 by 0.3 arc minutes, means about 20 arc seconds in size. Through a 14.5-inch scope, also done on April Fool's Day 2021, faint, very small, round, 15 to 20 arc seconds in diameter, forms a very close pair and has a similar redshift just south of much brighter NGC 2693. About 55 arc centers between them. Well, this is south. There's a faint galaxy here, which is actually to the west. 55 arc seconds. If it were due south, it would be this one right here. This is obviously a galaxy here and is off as far, in my estimation, to the west, not the south. Wow, we have a particularly interesting galaxy for you right here. This is NGC 2701. It's at 8 hours, 59 minutes, 5.4 seconds, plus 53 degrees, 46 minutes, and 13 seconds. And in Ursa Majoris, brightish, magnitude 12.3, about the right size, 2.2 by 1.6 arc minutes, and an average surface brightness of 13.5 magnitudes with a position angle of 23 degrees. Through a 13.1-inch scope done in 1985, Steve describes it as fairly faint, almost even surface brightness. But if this is our galaxy, we got a bright core. Remember, we're getting something more like twice the aperture view. If this is our galaxy, we have a bright core, we have knots forming in it, we've got modeling all over the galaxy. I would say this is south, so it's oriented towards the southwest largely. That is quite a beautiful, very detailed view. And that does sound like it could very well be our galaxy. So I'm going to take quite a break here and stop it, and then move on to our next study as you have a look at this one, remembering our time constraints. And look at this nice edge-on galaxy off to the west. Here we're having a view of NGC 2710. It's at 8 hours, 59 minutes, and 48.4 seconds. Close to the last one, plus 55 degrees, so 2 degrees further north, 42 minutes and 23 seconds at Ursa Majoris. It's a visual magnitude 12.9, a size by 2 by 1 arc minute, and an average surface brightness of 13.4, with a position angle of 125 degrees. Through a 17.5-inch scope done in 1993, Steve describes it as very faint, fairly small, elongated 3:2 ratio northwest to southeast. If this is our galaxy, it is appreciably brighter than what he is reporting there. This is the northwest. This is the southeast. Not sure about the orientation, but when you're looking through a smaller aperture scope, you may actually get a different sense of its orientation than through a larger one with more luminosity. What we're seeing here is a very fine low-power image of NGC 2715. I'm going to do the zoom in. Once again, I have time constraints that I've artificially placed on myself. We're going to increase the magnification to 11%. And this is our beautiful edge-on galaxy. It looks to have an annularity around. NGC 2715 is at 9 hours, 8 minutes, 6.4 seconds, plus 78 degrees, 5 minutes, and 7 seconds in Camelopard, Dallas. Has a visual magnitude of 11.2, size 4.9 by 1.7 arc minutes with an average surface brightness of 13.4. That position angle is supposed to be 22 degrees. 17.5-inch scope done in 1992. It's described as moderately bright, fairly large, elongated 2:1 southwest to northeast, 4 by 2 arc minutes, broad, weak concentration, fairly low but irregular surface brightness. The major axis is collinear with a magnitude 11 star, 4 arc minutes south-southwest of center. I would say that is our star. What a grand view of slightly tilted galaxy, spiral galaxy. Enjoy that one. Well, folks, I would say we're having a rather extraordinary night tonight. We are getting some grand visions. Oh, look at that galaxy over there. And the one we're looking for is right here. That should be NGC 2726. Let's zoom in on it. I'll give you the data on that edge on. I'm going to really push this. Look at that. I'm going to keep going. All we got, now we're at almost 300% zoom. Let's go back to our 100%, our standard zoomage, and capture the data. NGC 2726 is at 9 hours, 4 minutes, 56.8 seconds, plus 59 degrees, 55 minutes, 58 seconds in Ursa Majoris, with a visual magnitude of 13.0. That looks quite bright. Size 1.6 by 0.5 arc minutes. Yeah, that aspect ratio is good. And an average surface brightness of 12.5 with a position angle of 87 degrees. I guess we would describe that as being north-south. 17.5-inch scope done in 97. Steve describes it as fairly faint, small, elongated 3 to 1 east-west. That looks more north-south to me. Maybe something as weird is going on here. 1.2 by 0.4 arc minutes, bright bulging core magnitude 15 stars just south of the core, 23 arc second south-southwest of center. We can see that 15th magnitude star, quite bright right there. That means these stars here that are very faint are probably somewhere around 17th to 18th magnitude. Here we should have NGC 2732. Galaxies have been ranging all over the screen this evening, mostly in this area here, so I'm never quite sure what we're going to look at until we actually match up with Steve's descriptions and the data available on the data sheet. NGC 2732 is at 9 hours, 13 minutes, 24.8 seconds, 79 degrees, 11 minutes, 14 seconds in Dallas. Okay, this one's magnitude 11.9, so it is that bright galaxy. 2.1 by 0.8 arc seconds. Yes, it is quite like a 4 to 1, 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1 presentation angle that describes it. Surface brightness of magnitude 12.4, position angle is 67 degrees. Through a 17.5-inch scope, Steve describes it in 1990 and 1991 as fairly bright, small, elongated 5 to 2, southwest to northeast. 1.6 by 0.7 arc minutes with a small, bright core and a stellar nucleus. I would say the core is quite large, and it is probably overwhelming the stellar nucleus Steve mentions in a smaller imaging apparatus scope at the eyepiece. Oh, I may not have paused the last view. Oh, this baby is a beauty. And there's another one at the far northwestern side of the basically 1 arc degree sized field of view. But let's zoom in on this one. Go to our standard viewing of 100%, where we're using all our pixels at roughly 250x. What we should be seeing here is NGC 2742. It's at 9 hours, 7 minutes, 33.2 seconds, plus 60 degrees, 28 minutes, 46 in Ursa Majoris. Visual magnitude 11.4. Well, size 3 by 1.5 arc. It's 2 to 1 aspect ratio with an average surface brightness of 13 and a position angle of 87 degrees. Boy, the PAs have not been mapping very good this evening. Scope is not, we are not looking at culminating objects, we are looking kind of to the north and to the west. Don't think that should be a factor. But NGC 2742 through a 13.1-inch scope done in 1984, fairly bright, moderately large, elongating east-west. Well, things are locked up in terms of orientation. That's south. Even on the surface brightness, located 4.6 arc minutes southeast of magnitude 7.7, SAO 14765, and this is the star he is referring to. And he says, Steve says, well, I could be incorrect here. Maybe probably Steve isn't. He's an expert eyepiece observer. 2742 is located, once again, get that star, southeast of that star. South, the star is here. This is west, and this is north. So I don't know I'm not going to explore that. I just want to get the views of the galaxies, and that one is spectacular. NGC 2742. Well, folks, I don't know if it's such a fine sky. It really looks dark up there, or whether I have just nailed the histogram settings, but we have been getting some fabulous views this evening. This view of NGC 2748. It's in Camelot Park, Dallas, 9 hours, 13 minutes, 42.9 seconds, plus 76 degrees, 28 minutes, and 33 seconds. It's a visual magnitude 11.7, galaxy 3 by 1.1. Looks a little more edge-on than that. Surface brightness 12.9, positioning 38 degrees. Through a 17.5-inch scope, done in April of 1991, Steve describes it as moderately bright. I'd say it's brilliant. Fairly small, actually quite large at 250. Very elongated 3 by 1 arc minute southwest to northeast with a broad concentration, but no nucleus. We're not seeing a stellar nucleus, but you can definitely distinguish it. And there's some modelings, especially in this direction here. So we are getting some nice texture on NGC 2748. Okay, we're now seeing NGC 2756, another brilliant galaxy. 2756 is located in Ursa Majoris at 9 hours, 9 minutes, 1.1 second, some 53 degrees, 50 minutes, and 58 seconds north. Visual magnitude 12.4 with a size of 1.7 by 1.1 arc minutes, maybe a little smaller than usual for 12th magnitudes. Average surface brightness of 13.0 and a position angle of 0. Through a 17.5-inch scope done in 2002, Steve describes it as fairly faint, fairly small, elongated nearly 2 to 1. Okay, yeah, we can see that 2 to 1 north-south. Well, that looks rather east-west. Maybe things have gotten turned around. 1 by 0.6 arc minute contains a brighter, roundish core. That is most definite, and the core is quite round. We are now on to NGC 2762. There's a couple of bright galaxies down here, but a fainter, probably 15th magnitude galaxy in that position. Let's see what it says. NGC 2762 is our faintest galaxy of the evening at magnitude 15.1, located at 9 hours, 9 minutes, 54.5 seconds, plus 50 degrees, 25 minutes, and 6 seconds in Ursa Majoris. It's 0.5 by 0.35 arc minutes, and a position angle of 0 degrees. Its average surface brightness is about 13.2. I had to figure that out because it wasn't printed. Through an 18-inch scope in 2010 at 280x, so roughly this magnification. This difficult galaxy appeared extremely faint, very small, possibly elongated, though too faint to determine an orientation. 20 arc seconds in diameter. Required averted vision and concentration to just briefly glimpse. I've repeated this a few times. This object is 2.9 arc minutes west-northwest of NGC 2767, first to 4 in a group with NGC 2767, 2769, and 2771. The way Steve describes this NGC 2767, this 2762 this evening, it's pretty much the way I would describe just about all the galaxies I did eyepiece views on from the April Fool's Challenge. Many required averted vision. Some I had to dismiss because I only saw them on eye movement. But I would say, as opposed to the previous evening when it was one luminosity in the sky and I saw 3 of 19, I was able to confidently relate the fact that maybe 2/3 of the galaxies that are in 11th and 12th magnitude range were visible with at least averted vision. This fine night seeing. Although this is a fine night, it doesn't mean it's excellent. It's just better than I've seen. All right, our final galaxy of the evening is NGC 2767 at 9 hours, 10 minutes, 11.9 seconds, 50 degrees north, 24 minutes, and 5 seconds in Ursa Majoris. It's a magnitude 13.8, 0.7 by zero point 0.6, so rather smallish. Surface brightness of 11.6 and a position angle of 0 degrees. Through an 18-inch scope in 2010, Steve reports that the galaxy forms the west vertex of a near equilateral triangle with NGC 2769, 3.8 arc minutes northeast, and NGC 2771, 4.6 arc minutes east-southeast. At roughly this magnification we're seeing here, 280x, it appeared moderately bright, fairly small, round, 0.6 arc minutes in diameter, well concentrated with a very small bright core. Meanwhile, NGC 2762, your previous study, lies 2.9 minutes west northwest, so that should be 20. This number should be 62. So we've got 4 galaxies in this region. All are given fine views. We're at 22 minutes into this video. We will have one final Carpe Noctem view of the evening before signing off. I'm going to have to tighten this up even more in the future. Sorry for the rush. Let's start off at Messier 81 seen here is rarely seen at this magnification in the past to show the spiral arms going off well away from the core and core region of the galaxy. This is our 50x view. We are going to push the galaxy to fill the screen as we've done in a previous note. We're going to see H2 regions. We are going to see the spiralicity in the arms. I'm going to center it up. This is our Carpe Noctem view, of course, and our comparative view for the evening. I am going to push the magnification. Right now, we're going to push it up to about 200%. This is effectively a 500x view of Messier 81. The brighter of the pair, and more massive and larger of the pair of Bode's galaxies, which has its own system. These galaxies are located about 12 million light years away. This galaxy does resemble our own at 90,000 light years in diameter. It is the dominant galaxy in the M81-M82 group. It is giving a fine view on this very dark evening for backyard John Day. I'm hoping you will enjoy it as I say Carpe Noctem. 24 minutes into this video, we've shaved maybe 8 minutes off. Done in the past.